Space around the alien planet Nexer was silent. But silence was dangerous here. 12 warships circled above, like metal vultures. They were part of the Primes, the strongest elite force in the galaxy. They had chased one small ship, an old Earth fighter, into their orbit. That ship should have been gone in seconds. But it stayed, floating, waiting. Commander Zari of the Primes stood on the bridge of his lead ship. He narrowed his yellow eyes, tapping his sharp claws on the metal railing. His voice was cold. Why doesn't the human run? His second in command, a smaller alien named Kel, checked the scanners. Shields are up, but weapons offline. Zari growled. Is he surrendering? No, sir. He's just watching us. Inside the Earthship, Captain. Elias Vorn sat alone in the pilot's seat. He wore no armor, no helmet, just a dark uniform wrinkled from too many battles. He looked calm, almost bored. His blue eyes scanned the ships around him. Still waiting? A voice asked through a small earpiece. It was Red-Eye, the human AI. They're thinking, Elias replied with a smile. 12 warships against one man. I want them to believe it's enough. What if they fire? Then they die scared, Elias said softly. Then he stood. He walked to the back of the ship and opened a small locker. Inside were only 2 things, an old Earth combat suit and a strange black stick. He didn't take the suit. He just grabbed the stick and stepped into the airlock. On the lead Prime ship, alarm screamed. He's opening the hatch. Kel shouted. He's coming out alone. What trick is this? Zari snarled. Does he think we'll fear a single human? No armor, no weapons. He's just walking on his hull. And it was true. On the surface of his small ship, Elias Vorn stood with 1 foot forward, arms behind his back, looking at the 12 warships like he was watching birds fly by. Then he raised a hand and waved. The Primes were furious. He mocks us, yelled one of the ship captains. Zari didn't speak. He just gave the command. Send all 12, ground him, tear him apart. 12 shuttles dropped from the warships. They landed around Elias like hammers. The metal ground cracked. The smoke rose. From the smoke, 12 warriors stepped forward, wearing silver armor with green energy blades in their hands. One of them shouted, "Human kneel." Elias looked at him, then dropped the black stick. The aliens laughed. He smiled. Then he said something they didn't expect. Let me make this fair. And then he took off his jacket. The fight started with sound. Then silence. The first alien rushed forward, his blade ready. But Elias moved not fast, not wild. Precise. He twisted to the side, grabbed the alien's arm, and snapped it backward. A scream echoed. Before it finished, Elias had already kicked another soldier in the chest so hard. His armor broke like glass. 3 more came together. Elias dropped to the ground, spun low, and swept their legs. They fell like puppets with cut strings. 1 Prime warrior screamed and charged with both blades. Elias leaned back just an inch, avoiding the slash, then struck with his elbow. The sound of bone cracking filled the air. Within 60 seconds, 7 Primes were on the ground groaning, unconscious, or dead. In space. The Primes watching the battle went silent. He's not human, whispered Kel. Zari's claws shook. He's using Earth martial combat. But faster, smarter, like he knew every move before they made it. Should we send reinforcements? No, Zari said, his voice cold. I want to see how this ends. Back on the surface, 5 Primes stood shaking. One of them dropped his weapon. Elias walked slowly toward them, his eyes calm, his hands still bare. I asked for a fair fight, he said quietly, but I gave you mercy. 1 warrior tried to swing. Elias grabbed his wrist midair, twisted, and pushed the alien to his knees. You don't understand, Elias said. This isn't power. This is practice. One last Prime taller, stronger than the rest, charged with a scream. His armor glowed red. A suicide strike. Elias didn't run. He stepped into the attack, and the moment the blade came down, Elias vanished. The alien struck empty air. Then, behind him, Elias whispered, "Too slow." He struck once. The prime fell. All 12 were down. Elias stood alone, untouched. He picked up his black stick, dusted it off, and looked up at the sky. He knew they were watching. He raised 2 fingers. A challenge. Inside the lead ship, Zari's jaw clenched. "He's forcing us to send more," Kel said. "No," Zari replied. "He's testing us, seeing how long we'll pretend we're in control." "Who is he?" Elias Vorn, Zari answered slowly. "He was killed on Mars during the war, or so we thought." Later, back inside his ship, Elias walked to a small screen. Red Eye blinked on. "Why not kill them all?" The eye asked. "Because I'm not here to destroy them," Elias said. "I'm here to remind them." "Remind them of what?" Elias leaned forward, voice cold and sharp. "That we were always fair, even when we were monsters." Scene shift. Prime Command HQ news of the battle reached the High Council of the Primes. They played the video footage over and over. Each move, each takedown. Some were amazed, some were afraid. One old general stood up, face pale. "Activate Code Black," he said. "But that's for extinction-level threats." Another shouted. "Exactly," the general replied. "He's not just a soldier. He's the last proof of what Earth really created." Back on Elias's ship, Red Eye gave a warning. "They're sending more, possibly their entire ground division." Elias smiled. "Good," he said. "Now it's finally fair." The screen flashed with enemy numbers, thousands. He closed his eyes. Feeling calm, he whispered to himself, "Let's wake the galaxy up." 12 bodies lay broken on the stone field. Their armor sparked. Some groaned in pain. Some didn't move. At all dot, and in the middle of them stood one man, Elias Vorn. No blood on him. No cuts. Just a light sweat on his face and a black stick in his hand. Dot in orbit above. Hundreds of alien officers watched in silence. No one spoke. No one moved until Commander Zari finally said, "Send the next squad." Back inside his small Earthship, Elias wiped his hands. "You all right?" Our EDI asked from the screen. "They weren't ready," Elias said quietly. "I thought the Primes would send me warriors." Our EDI showed a flashing red icon. "They just launched 40 more. Ground troops, elite class." Elias smiled. "Better." He walked back to the hatch, then stopped and turned to the screen. "Play the Mars footage," he said. Red Eye paused. "Are you sure?" "They should remember," Elias said. "They should know what made me." The AI nodded. A small video. Screen blinked to life. It showed an old battle. Mars, red dust storms, alien war beasts crawling across the land. And one man, Elias, running straight into the fire. He didn't shoot. He didn't hide. He broke through them like a machine. Body moved like gravity didn't matter. 1 second he was in front of a beast, next second behind it. No armor, no fear, and then the feed ended. Back on the alien capital ship, the general stared at the screen. "This footage is 10 years old." One whispered, "He died there," another said. "No," Zari growled. "He became something else. Something we don't understand." Down below, Elias stood alone again. He waited on a rocky hill near the battlefield. From the sky, shuttles dropped like thunder. 40 alien warriors in heavy armor marched out. Each held glowing plasma weapons. Their leader, tall and covered in black armor, pointed a thick energy blade at Elias. "You have one chance," he said. "Surrender." Elias looked around. "You brought more this time. That's good. Makes it a little fairer. You killed 12 of our best." "I was gentle." The alien leader shouted, "Attack!" What followed was not a battle. It was a dance. The first 5 aliens opened fire. Blue bolts of plasma filled the air. Elias moved, not like a normal soldier, not even like a human. He stepped between the shots. He read them. 1 step left. Spin. Duck. Leap forward. His black stick extended, snapping into a metal spear. He struck 1 alien in the stomach, flipped another over his shoulder, then threw the spear like lightning. It hit a 3rd soldier right in the chest. 3 down in 5 seconds. The rest closed in. They surrounded him, blades drawn. But they couldn't touch him. His body moved like he already knew their moves, like he had fought them 100 times. Before, slash, strike, kick, twist. 10 more down. Their screams echoed across the valley. In orbit, the alien command center went into full panic. Stop the feed. 1 general shouted. No, Zari said. Let every world see. Let them know what they're facing. Why? It will only spread fear. Exactly, Zari whispered. Maybe that's what he wants. Back on the field, only 5 aliens were left standing. Elias didn't speak. He just stared. The leader stepped forward, angry and shaking. You're not even using real weapons, he growled. Elias shrugged. I don't need to. Then he whispered, but you do. The alien swung his blade fast, strong, trained. Elias caught it with 2 fingers. The alien froze. His mouth fell open. Then Elias crushed the blade in his grip like paper. He grabbed the leader's chest plate, pulled him close, and said 1 line. Tell them the truth. Tell them Earth didn't fall. We left. Then he threw the leader back alive. Only 1 prime ship still recorded the fight. Inside it, a junior officer said he could have killed them all. He chose not to. Commander Zari stood silently. He's testing us, the officer added. No, Zari replied. He's preparing. U.S. Back in his ship, Elias cleaned his hands again. Red Eye appeared on screen. 1 survivor left. He's returning to their fleet. Good, Elias said. Let him talk. You didn't kill him on purpose? No, the truth always hits harder when it comes from one of their own. Scene cut, alien medical ship. The wounded prime leader lay on a table. His armor was shattered, his bones cracked. But he lived, and he kept whispering the same line. He knew every move. He wasn't guessing. He knew. Doctors listened. Generals watched. 1 admiral asked, how do we stop him? The wounded prime looked up, eyes full of fear. You don't. You train with him. Or you die. Later, in a dark alien command room, a secret order was given. Activate Operation Grave Sky. What is that? It's the file they buried during the human wars, the one about the Martian prototypes. But they were destroyed. No, 1 survived. Back on Elias's ship, Red Eye spoke again. They're digging into old data, looking for what made you. They already know, Elias said. They just don't want to believe it. You're pushing them, Red Eye warned. Hard. I want them scared, Elias replied. Why? Because something worse is coming, and if they're not ready, they all die. Suddenly, a new signal appeared on the screen. Not alien. Not human. Unknown. The message was short. We see you. Elias stood up, eyes wide. Red Eye, he said quietly. Trace it. I already am. But it's not from this galaxy. The alien war room was dark. A dozen generals sat in silence. Only 1 screen was on, playing an old video marked Classified, Humanity Level Red. The footage was from Mars. Dust storms howled. Red soil burned under the weight of metal. Walkers, alien machines, fought Earth forces across deep canyons and ruined domes. And in the middle of it all, a young man fought alone. His name? Elis Vorn. The alien general spoke. This footage is from 12 years ago. We believe this human died here during Operation Crimson Fall. But he didn't, someone whispered. No, he lived, and now he fights again. Who trained him? That's the problem. The general said, no one did. Scene shift, Earth Archive, Mars ruins. A secret alien scout ship landed on Mars, deep under the surface in a broken Earth outpost. Inside the ruins were empty labs, twisted machines, and walls filled with human writing. One alien technician activated an old console. The screen blinked to life. Project, Hypercore Subject, Elias Vorn status, unknown. Escaped final note. He adapted faster than the system. We couldn't predict him anymore. The technician swallowed hard. He didn't follow orders. He became something else. Back on Elias's ship, Red Eye showed a new signal. They found the Mars. Data, it said. Elias stood silent for a moment, then whispered, then they know. Flashback, Mars. 12 years ago, young Elias stood alone in a test chamber. A team of scientists watched from behind glass. He survived Phase 7. One said, no one survives Phase 7. He's smiling. Inside the chamber, Elias opened. His eyes, red veins glowed under his skin. He wasn't breathing heavily. He wasn't afraid. He was calm. The AI in the lab recorded a new file. Subject now reacts before stimulus. Time perception is increasing. Pain response ... 0. The scientists didn't cheer. They looked at each other, and one said, we made something we can't stop. Flashback ends. Present day. I spoke. You never told them what happened in the final trial. Elias looked away. They weren't ready. Are they ready now? We'll see. Meanwhile, the Alien Council voted. We cannot beat him with soldiers. Then how do we stop him? One elder leaned forward and whispered, we find what broke him. Back on Mars, the alien team discovered a hidden vault. They forced it open. Inside were glass tubes, each one broken. Each one labeled with human names. Only one tube was sealed. They wiped off the glass. Name, Elias Vorn. Label, failed, 2 HUMA. Inside, carved in the glass, were the words, I remember everything. Scene cut, Elias in meditation. He sat cross-legged. In his ship, eyes closed. Breathing slow. Red Eye whispered, they found the tube. I wanted them to. Why? To see what Earth gave up on. Alien scientist Dr. Hrith recorded a message to the Council. Elias wasn't a weapon. He was a mirror. The humans saw what they could become and shut it down. Why? Because they feared he was the start of something ... uncontrollable. Scene shift. Alien Command Cruiser. A young alien officer walked up to Commander Zari. Sir, permission to speak freely. Granted. I think he's not trying to kill us. He's trying to show us something. Zari didn't answer at first. Then he nodded slowly. I think you're right. But he may break us doing it. Suddenly, Red Eye beeped. Incoming message. Same unknown signal, no origin, just 3 words. Elias opened the message. We remember Mars. He stood up. It's not them, he said. It's not the aliens. Someone else is watching. Who? I don't know, but they were there. Scene cut. Orbit of Nexera, small alien scout ship, exploded mid-air. No enemy ships nearby. No warning, only one thing was left behind. A strange symbol burned into space. Elias saw the feed and froze. His voice dropped. They're here. Flashback again. Final day on Mars. Elias stood outside a burning lab. His team, his friends, were dead. The AI had gone rogue. Systems failed. The test chambers locked them in. But someone else had been watching. He remembered a strange shadow. Not human. Not alien, a voice echoing in his head. Not yet human, but soon. Present day. Elias clenched his fists. They're not just watching. They're coming. Red Eye asked, do we tell the aliens? Elias thought for a long moment, then said, yes. Scene cut. Emergency message to the galaxy, the Prime. Council received a direct signal. From Elias. He stood calm in the message. No weapons, no smile, only truth. You think I'm the danger. I'm not. I'm the warning. What's coming isn't human. And it isn't yours. It's old. It's hungry. You didn't destroy Earth. We left. Because we knew what was waking up. Final scene, deep space something stirred. Far beyond. Nexer, beyond any charted world. A black shape moved in the stars, huge, silent, watching. The same symbol that burned into space now glowed on its side. Elias looked up at the stars from his ship and whispered. Mars was just the start. The autopsy room was quiet. Too quiet. Dr. Relin, a top alien scientist, stood over the body of a fallen prime warrior. His hands shook. Not because of fear, but because of what he had just found. Inside the soldier's chest, under cracked ribs, hidden in the bone itself, was a tiny shard of metal. But it wasn't alien tech. It had English words burned into it. The shard said, "You were warned." The alien doctors stared. None of them understood human language, but the translation was instant. Dr. Relin leaned close to the table. This message, it was inside his body before he died. Another doctor stepped back. Did Elias Vorn put it there? No, Relin whispered. It grew inside the bone. Scene cut. Elias aboard his shipper showed the latest data. They found it, the AI said. Elias didn't react. They found the message. Still no reaction. Then Elias finally spoke. It started. What has? Our EDI asked. Elias walked to the front window and stared into space. The deeper code, the part no one saw. Until now. Scene shift. Alien military archives. The council demanded answers. The footage of the metal shard was played in secret rooms. The council leader said, "Explain how human language was embedded inside living alien bone." Dr. Rith, their best mind, stood up slowly. It didn't come from Elias, it came from whatever changed him. Flashback, Earth. Before the Mars trials, Elias sat in a cold lab, strapped to a chair. His arms trembled as a human doctor held a strange, humming cube near his head. "This is the core," the doctor whispered. "Not just a weapon, it learns, it evolves. And now we put it inside you." The cube melted into his chest. He screamed, "Don't fight it," the voice said. "Let it become you." Present day. Elias opened a hidden panel in his ship. Inside, glowing softly, was a second cube. Red Eye hissed, That's the original." "No," Elias said. "This is the copy. The real one is in me." Scene cut. Alien black site on planet Joran. Alien soldiers dug deep under the surface, searching for ruins of an old battle. They uncovered a crater with burned Earth tech. In the middle was a skeleton, not human, not alien, carved into its bones was the same message. You were warned. And below that, another line. He walks again. The message spread across the galaxy. First whispers, then fear. Aliens everywhere repeated the same question. Who is Elias Vorn really? Scene shift. Elias prepares to speak. He activated an old human signal frequency, reaching every system across multiple star systems. His message was short. I am human, but what changed me was not human. We built it. Then we buried it. I survived. Now it lives in me. I don't want war, but I will finish one. The real enemy is coming. Scene cut. Alien Council meeting. Panic. Some demanded a fleet to destroy Elias. Some suggested surrender, and others said, follow him. General Zari slammed his fist on the table. We don't follow monsters. An older voice replied, he is not the monster, he's the only one who survived it. Back aboard Elias's ship, Red Eye detected movement. Something's tracking us. Let it, Elias said. You want it to find you? Yes, he said coldly. It's time. Scene cut. Far space. A hidden station blinked to life. Its sensors tracked one thing. Elias Vern's heart rate when he slowed his breathing. It echoed in the station. Something inside the station, a massive, black, alien-looking machine, opened its eyes. Its systems activated. A single word appeared on its screen. Awaken. Flashback. Mars facility. Final experiment. Elias lay on the floor, half dead. His heartbeat was nearly gone, but his brain glowed. Scientists watched in horror as a pattern spread from his nerves to the machines. The pattern wasn't coded. Was language made of thought. Ready. HFY's original system tried to copy it. The attempt failed. The AI shut down for 72 hours. When it came back online, it simply said, "We were changed." Present. Elias stepped outside his ship again. This time, not to fight. To send a signal. He placed the cube into the ground. It sank, glowed, and then the world shook. On nearby alien ships, power shut off. Lights died, nothing worked. Then every screen turned on by itself. A single phrase appeared. "Your technology still uses fire. We use thought." Alien panic exploded across the systems, but then came silence. And then a message from Elias. "I didn't come to fight you. I came to prepare you. The thing that changed me is awake now. It's looking for minds to break. You don't have to like me. You just have to listen." Back at the alien black site, the skeletons began to move. Not walk. Not rise. Just shift. As if the bones remembered something, scientists screamed. Guards fired. Nothing stopped it. One voice echoed from the walls. "The code is in you now." Scene ends. Elias whispers to himself in his ship. Now they feel it. Red Eye appeared on screen. "Do you think they'll fight beside you?" "No," Elias said. "But they'll follow me. Because they're more afraid of what's coming than they are of me." Final scene. Deep in the unknown, the black shape from Part 3 moved again. It had grown. And on its surface, the message finally became clear. "We remember the first human. We want the last." Elias looked at the image and said, "Then come." Nexer Prime skies turned black. The people looked up. Clouds didn't form. Something else blocked the sky. A single human ship. Small. Silent. Deadly. It didn't fire a weapon. It didn't even speak. It simply landed. In the alien command center, alarm screamed. "He's landing!" shouted a soldier. Commander Zari stood over the digital map. "Where?" "In the capital." Zari slammed his fist on the table. "He could have attacked anywhere, and he lands in front of our council hall." "He wants to be seen," said General Tyr. "No," Zari said coldly. "He wants us to see what comes next." Elias stepped off his ship. He walked through the main city street. No armor. No weapons. No guards. Civilians froze. Some screamed and ran, but others just stared at him. He walked calmly, like he owned the ground under his feet. And when Prime soldiers rushed toward him, he raised a hand. "I'm not here to destroy," he said. They didn't believe him. So they fired. The blast didn't touch him. The energy bolts froze midair. Time itself slowed. And then, with one motion, Elias turned slightly. The energy scattered into harmless sparks. "I said," he repeated, "I'm not here to destroy." He kept walking. Scene shift. Alien Council Hall. Council leaders watched the live footage. Some were furious. Others terrified. General Zari gritted his teeth. "Why doesn't anyone stop him?" "He walked into our capital like a storm," whispered one elder. "What do you suggest? Fighting a hurricane?" In front of the council building, Elias stopped. He looked at the giant gate. Then he placed something small on the ground. A cube. Just like the one on Mars. It sank into the stone and pulsed once. Everything changed. Buildings shut down. Weapons powered off. Ships fell from the sky but landed softly, like feathers. Lights dimmed. Then shifted color. All systems now glowed red, and one message appeared on every device. Protocol. Planetfall. Inside the council, Panic spread. What is planetfall? Someone asked. No one answered. Elias walked into the building. No one stopped him. No one could. He stood before the entire council and said just one thing. I'm not your enemy. I'm your filter. What does that mean? Zari asked. Elias stepped closer. What's coming will kill you all. Unless someone sharpens you first. We don't need your help. Elias's eyes glowed faint red, then die slow. Scene. Shift. Outside the city, alien reinforcements arrived. Thousands of soldiers, tanks, flyers, MECHS. All powered up, locked on his location. Fire everything. Nothing happened. Weapons didn't work. Engines stalled. Armor cracked without being touched. Elias didn't look up. Red-Eye appeared in the sky over them all. Its voice echoed. You failed the test. Let's try again. Elias touched the ground. Shockwaves pulsed through the city, not destructive, but selective. Only weapons vanished. Only fear grew. Civilians stayed unharmed. One child stood in front of Elias. She didn't run. She just asked, "Are you a god?" He knelt down. No, just the last human who remembers what it means to fight right. Scene shift. Deep in space, the black shape watching the galaxy began to move faster. Inside it, something woke up. Its systems responded to Elias's signal. One word blinked on its screen. Accepted. Back on Nexer, Elias raised his voice to the sky. You fear me, you should. But what's coming is worse. You think I'm here to conquer? No, I'm here to give you a chance. You must evolve or be erased. Scene shift. Rebel aliens watching the broadcast. Some began whispering, he's not killing us. He's removing the weak. He's helping. Inside the council, some stood with Elias. Others ran. Zari stood tall. I still won't bow to you. Elias didn't smile. Good. I don't want followers. I want fighters. Suddenly, all screens across the galaxy showed one image. A star system. Unknown. Far away. And then a scream from deep space. It wasn't a sound. It was felt. In bones. In minds. In memory. Elias fell to one knee. Even he felt it. The awakening, he whispered. Red-Eye asked, do we move? Not yet. We let them choose. Scene shift. All across the galaxy, aliens received a strange offer. A simple signal. Do you want to survive? Then face the protocol. Some rejected it. Their cities went dark. Some accepted it. Their bodies changed, faster reflexes. Sharper thought, but not without pain. Scene cut. Elias speaking to the new recruits. Not your leader, I'm your test. If you stand after this, maybe you're ready. A young alien asked. Ready for what? Elias looked up. At the edge of the galaxy, he said, the thing that broke me is returning. Final scene. Deep inside the black alien Machinia, new name appeared on its surface. Elias. Below that, planetfall acknowledged. Begin. Phase 2. The galaxy thought Earth was silent. They believed humans were gone. They were wrong. Now, the silence was speaking back. Scene shift. Planet Ferrox 7, alien bunker A, young alien cadet, Velen, woke to darkness. All lights were dead. No sounds. No guards. She walked through the empty bunker, her feet echoing on the metal floor. On the wall, written in strange glowing red words. Do you want to live? She turned fast. No one was behind her. Just footsteps in the dark, and a human voice. Whispering, then remember what you forgot. Scene shift. Elias's ship, Red-Eye, scans the galaxy. Dozens of worlds receiving messages, Red-Eye reported. But you didn't send them. Elias stared at the screen. I didn't have to. Scene cut. Memory vault on Jupiter's moon. Europa alien scientists opened a sealed human bunker found under Europa's ice. Inside were holograms of Earth's final soldiers, not just Elias, but dozens. Hundreds. They weren't alive, but their training programs. Their voices, their minds. We're still running. If you found this, one hologram said, then Earth has already warned you once. You ignored it. You don't get another warning. You get a lesson. Scene cut, planet Doralin, alien resistance hideout aliens gathered. In secret, the message had reached them too, a voice. Calm and strong. Earth fell quiet, but its warriors never stopped speaking. We buried our ghosts in code. Now they're waking. Back on Elias's ship, Red-Eye asked, "Do you know what's happening?" Elias nodded. "The others. They're rising." Others? The ones who didn't survive in body, but whose minds we kept alive. We made them digital, memory ghosts. Flashback, Earth. Last days of the human empire. Elias stood in a lab with 12 other human soldiers, each one connected to a glowing machine. "We can't win this war," the scientist sighed. "But we can teach the next ones how to fight it." The soldiers didn't argue, they just smiled. And then let themselves die. Their thoughts were saved, their strategies, their instincts, locked in memory cores spread across the galaxy. Present. Elias whispers, "They weren't just my brothers. They were the plan." Scene shift, planet Gretha, alien training ground. Suddenly, weapons began training themselves. Walls spoke. Simulations appeared in thin air. Old Earth combat drills. Alien recruits stood in shock as a digital human voice coached them. "You hold the weapon wrong. Grip tighter, breathe slower, we are watching." Scene shift, deep alien space station. An ancient screen flickered on. No one had touched it for 100 years. A voice came through, a woman's voice. Human. "Calm. I am Commander Lena. If you are hearing this." Elias succeeded. "Now your real training begins." Galactic response split in two. Some worlds rejected the memory codes. They shut their systems. Their skies went dark. But others opened their doors and began to change. Their minds got faster, their instincts sharper. They began to understand the human way of war. And with that understanding came one word: fear. Scene shift, alien council emergency meeting. "They're everywhere," one general cried. "These ghosts. They're waking in our cities." "They aren't ghosts," Zari said. "They're teachers. And we'd be fools to ignore them. But they're turning us into humans." "No," Zari said. "They're turning us into survivors." Back on Elias's ship, Red-Eye showed dozens of dots on a galactic map, memory cores online. "Each one active. They're listening," Elias said. "To you?" "No," he replied. "To Earth." Suddenly, a new signal broke through. Not human. Not alien. From the edge of space. The same black machine. From before. Its message: "We found one of your ghosts." R.A.D.E. blinked. "They've located Lena's core." Elias stood up fast. "Where?" Red-Eye showed a star system blinking red. "They're moving toward it." Scene shift, planet Zoran 3. Lena's core site. Alien defenders tried to hold the ground, but the skies above cracked open. Black ships poured in, silent, no heat, no life. Just shadows, and weapons that melted through matter. Elias arrived too late. The city burned. But deep underground, the memory core still pulsed. He dropped into the ruins and knelt by the glowing cube. A voice came from it. Elias. He touched it gently. "I'm here, Lena." I held them back. "As long as I could." "You did more than enough." And then the light faded. She was gone. Elias rose in silence. For the first time, he looked tired. Red-Eye whispered, "We can't protect all the cores." "I know," Elias said. "But they're not just memory now. They're becoming something else." Scene cut. Alien recruits fighting in simulation. They begin hearing voices during combat. Not hallucinations. Instructions. From the ghosts. From Lena. From others. And in their minds. Something connects. Human memory fusing with alien instinct. The first hybrid soldier is born. Part alien, part Earth-trained. Faster, stronger, smarter. And above all calm and chaos. Scene. Elias speaks. One more message across the stars. We died once already, but we left our ghosts behind. Now they rise in you. Fight with us, or fall without us. Final scene. The black machine records the signal, and for the first time, it sends back an answer. 2 words: we evolve. The battlefield was silent, not because there was no war, but because even war had stopped to watch. 12 alien champions, chosen across 5 galaxies, stood in a circle, each one the strongest of their kind. Tall, armored, trained for decades. They had one mission. Stop Elias VORN. Above them, alien leaders watched through drones. Commander Zuri whispered, "If they fail, we don't stand a chance." General Tyr nodded slowly. "This is the last of our elite. After this, there is nothing left to stop him." But Elias didn't come with weapons. He came alone. Bare hands, calm face, and one small box under his arm. The champions raised their blades. He just looked at them and said, "I don't want to kill you, but I will." The ground shook. One champion rushed forward, giant warhammer in both hands. He roared. Elias moved. One twist. One sidestep. The hammer slammed into the dirt, but Elias was already behind him. One strike to the neck. One fall. One dead. The other 11 didn't hesitate. They surrounded him, but Elias was a storm. No wasted motion. Every strike was perfect. His hand snapped one sword in half. His knee crushed one chest plate. He fought like someone who had done this 1,000 times. Because he had. Flashback. The Human Empire's secret moon training base. Young Elias trained inside gravity cages, virtual pain loops, and clone combat drills. One trainer said, "You're not fighting bodies. You're fighting intentions." Another said, "To win, you must feel before the enemy even moves." And Elias learned. Back in the present, only 5 champions stood. The ground was red. The air smelled of burnt metal. One alien dropped too. His knees. "I surrender," he said. Elias walked to him. "Get up." "I can't." "Then die." The alien's eyes widened until Elias grabbed him and pulled him to his feet. "I said, get up," Elias whispered. "Not everyone who kneels deserves to stay down." High above, Red Eye tracked the scene. "Half the galaxy is watching," it said. "I know," Elias replied. "They see your mercy. They need to." But then something strange happened. The remaining champions started glowing. Not with power, but with red code. Lines of symbols crawled up their arms and legs. Not alien writing. Human data. Elias blinked. They accepted. The memory ghosts. Our EDI confirmed. Yes, they unlocked full protocol access for the first time. Elias smiled. "They're not fighting me anymore," he said. "They're joining me." Scene shift. Deep space inside the black machine. Systems ran faster. Hundreds of mind feeds lit up. Alien, human, hybrid. All being scanned. All being judged. The machine spoke for the first time, in its true voice, selecting final form. Back on the battlefield, Elias walked through the injured champions. None moved to strike him. One stood up and asked, "What now?" Elias replied, "Now we become what no world ever imagined." Scene cut. Council chambers. Some alien leaders clapped. Some bowed their heads. Others still feared him, but none denied what they had. Scene. Zari looked into the camera and said, "We lost Earth once. Now Earth leads us." Later that night, Elias opened the small box. Inside it was a metal shard, the last piece of his old armor. He placed it in the ground. From it, a beacon rose. Not a weapon. Not a message. A door. A portal. To Earth. Scene. Cut Earth. Present day. It wasn't empty. Not broken. Not dead. Just waiting. The sky over Earth flickered. Systems lit up. Cores REBOOTED. And one word echoed across the stars. Home. Elias spoke to the champions. Earth left this war. But we left something behind in every system. Now we call it all back. The final elite isn't me. It's all of us who remember, who rise and who won't kneel again. Suddenly, Red Eye screamed an alert. Black machine moving fast. 1 day until impact. Target? Earth. Elias turned to his new allies. You were trained for war. You were born in fear. But now, you fight for something else. He pointed to the sky. Now you fight for where it all began. Final scene. All systems hear one last broadcast from the Black Machine. You evolved. But so did we. Earth lit up for the first time in 200 years. Cities once dark now glowed. Satellites blinked to life. Old defense grids recharged with quiet hums. And at the center of it all stood Elias Vorn. His ship hovered above New Geneva. The champions. Final elite stood beside him. Aliens. Hybrids. Ghost-touched warriors from across the stars. And in the sky above them, the Black Machine approached. Scene shift. Galactic Council emergency broadcast. Every species tuned in. The message was clear. This is not just Earth's last stand. This is the galaxy's last stand. REDEYE calculated quickly. 1 hour until impact. Any way to stop it? Elias asked. Red Eye paused. No, but maybe we change its mind. Scene cut. Deep space. Inside the Black Machine. Voice inside the machine spoke. We offered warnings. You replied with evolution. Now, we test your final form. It opened 12 gates. Each gate released a weapon. Not ships. Not drones. But beings, twisted things. Part flesh, part code. They had no names. Only numbers. And one purpose. Erase Earth. Scene shift. Earth sky. The 12 enemies dropped fast. Like comets. 1 hit the ocean. 1 struck Antarctica. 2 smashed into the deserts. The rest spread across continents. Each one started terraforming. They didn't want to conquer Earth. They wanted to change it into something else. Elias acted fast. He split the final elite into teams. You each take one. He ordered. I'll take the last. No backup? One alien asked. Elias smiled. I'm human. That's the backup. Scene cut. Antarctica Commander Zari led his team into frozen winds. They saw it, a huge spiked monster twisting the ice into black fire. Zari screamed, "Charge!" But the being didn't fight like normal. It read minds. Predicted every strike. Until Zari stopped thinking and started feeling. He remembered pain. He remembered loss. And his blade struck true. Scene cut. Desert Team alien champion Thra fought against a floating beast with no face. It used sound as a weapon, but Thra closed his ears, fought blind, trusting only what the ghost of Commander Lena whispered in his head. Step left. Duck now, /low. One scream. One kill. Scene cut. Elias versus the final enemy. It was massive. As tall as a city, made of stars and shadows. Elias didn't blink. He ran forward. Alone. It struck. He dodged. It sent fire. He broke through, and when he reached its core, he saw something that made him freeze. A human hand. Inside the machine. Flashback. Earth's final secret. In Earth's last hour, scientists uploaded a single dying soldier into the Black Machine, hoping to stop it from the inside. But it didn't stop. It merged. That hand belonged to Captain Ron, Elias's old friend. Present. Elias touched the core. Ron, are you still in there? The machine paused. It shook. And for the first time, it hesitated. Across the planet, the other 11 enemies fell. Each elite team succeeded. Earth held its ground. But the sky turned black again. The machine lowered. And it spoke to Elias directly. You passed the test. But now we give you a choice. Let Earth survive and become like us. Or stay human and burn. Elias closed his eyes. He remembered everything. Mars. The labs, the ghosts, the wars. He whispered, "I'd rather burn than forget who I am." The machine fired, a beam, wide as a continent, moving faster than light, but it hit nothing, because Elias had moved not physically, but through thought. He had become something the machine couldn't touch. Not code, not flesh. But pure will. And with that will he pushed back. The beam broke. The machine cracked. The sky turned red, and the earth roared back to life. Final scene. Days later. Machine was gone. Not destroyed. Just stopped. It floated in deep space. Silent. Waiting. But inside it, Captain Ron smiled for the first time in centuries. He whispered, "We remember Earth." On the ground, Elias walked the green fields of Earth. Children ran again. Aliens helped rebuild. The champions rested. But everyone knew one thing. This peace was earned. Elias looked up. Red Eye asked, "Is it really over?" "No," he said. "But we're ready now." Red Eye smiled in its voice. "Then what do we do?" Elias replied. "We teach, we protect. We don't conquer, we remember." Final lines of the series. Earth didn't fall. It grew quiet, so the galaxy could learn to listen.